Melachim Bet 6. Hey everyone, in this short video, we're going to zoom out and try to get an idea of who Elisha was as he's depicted throughout Pirkei Elisha, the prakim specifically dealing with Elisha Navi. Now, you might rightfully say, wait a second, Gedalia, these videos are supposed to be about geography. I can find out about Elisha anywhere I want, right? That's what you're looking for from me. But I will say that B'ezrat Hashem will get to it because there's an incredible amount of geography that's mentioned throughout Pirkei Elisha, and in a sense, perhaps this is a reflection of who he is. So we'll get to that in a moment. Elisha's time of Nevuah spans around 60 years. That makes him a Navi that perhaps has the longest career as a Navi in all of Israel. We're talking about through the reigns of 5 different kings. But he wasn't only there for the kings of Israel. We see him also relating to other kings and other nations around, for example, Aram. Now, interestingly, Elisha wasn't only sent to the kings of Israel. We see him also interacting with not only the king of Aram, but also with his generals. Whether we're talking about Naaman or talking about Hazael, we see that he's involved with others as well. Apparently, Elisha came from a place of prosperity. He came from a family that was wealthy, and he left his homestead and his family when he went to follow Eliyahu. And at that point, in essence, he left also that life of plenty. He left it behind him, went to live more austere and simple lifestyle. And he dedicated his life from that point on to teaching students and the community. So, for instance, we see this when we see that people would come to him apparently on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh to come learn from him. So he was involved in teaching the general community as well. And we see him very often involved in helping both the nation at large and the individuals, the specific individuals who are in need. So we see that he took on an entirely different lifestyle. We don't find him hiding out in the wilderness like we find by Eliyahu, far from everyone else, but he stayed with ordinary people. He wandered around with the nation. And as opposed to where he came from as a farmer or a family of farmers, where they'd be much more attached to their land and their specific nachalah, their specific portion, here we find, and this is where we get into the geography, here we find Elisha really traveling around to meet with the different people, to be able to help different people, to teach different people, going really all over the kingdom. We find him in the Gilgal, we find him in Har Ephraim, Yericho, Har Carmel, Shunem. Here in this parak, we find him by the Jordan River, and he'll stay for a time in Dotan. And of course, more and more, but we'll certainly find him a lot in the area of Shomron, in the city of Shomron. So he really is traveling throughout the kingdom. He even appears in the middle of battle along with the nation as they're traveling to Edom. So he's really going throughout the whole area. Elisha was a leader who walked the land. He connected with all different types of people, and he strove to bring them closer through love. When he had to admonish someone, he did. And sometimes he had to do so a little bit more harshly. But for the most part, what we find is that he would always seek to use signs and methodologies that would help show the message rather than only saying it. And we see a lot of different examples of this. Now, in the times of Achav, this probably wouldn't have been enough. Achav needed someone that was more strict, more rigid, that would really show him the way to go through through fire, right? That's Eliyahu. But as we've noted, each generation receives the spiritual leaders that they specifically need, or that we specifically need in our time period throughout history. The ones that we need to really be able to strive, those are the ones that Hashem sends right at the right time. The question was, would we listen anyway? And that's been a question we've had throughout history. No matter who the leaders are that Hashem sends, he always sends the right leaders at the right time, the right kinds of leaders at the right time. But do we listen to them? Do we really take their words to heart? Today, Nevuah is long gone. True leadership is often very hard to find. You have here and there, but they're few and far between. But maybe we can each do our part as best we can to fill that gap. We can be leaders in our own communities, in our own families, or at the very least, we can be true leaders in our own lives. And that's not a small thing. We have to try to fill in that gap, take on the mantle on ourselves, and do what we can in our time. Because if Hashem sent us here now, it means that there's something that we can add specifically in this time period, each and every one of us. If we're learning these prakim, it means that in a sense, we've become students of Elisha Navi.